Nvidia just reported their 13th filing, and unfortunately, they did reduce completely their position in Surf Robotics, which is causing the stock to drop roughly 36% pre-market. SoundHound was another one they caught off with the stock being down over 16%. They did cut a small position in ARM Holdings, and they did add a new position as well. On today's episode, I kind of want to cover all the changes and my overall thoughts. Too long, don't watch. A lot of these stocks were pretty inflated, in my opinion. They were all very small companies, and normally for most investors, these are what many call speculative plays, where if they are going to be winners, they're going to be big winners, but they come with a lot of risk, and we see the risk kind of happening right now. Now, there is one out of the two, Serve Robotics and SoundHound, that I am, I wouldn't say bullish on, but a little bit more hopeful on. And this overall price drop makes me want to take a closer look at Serve Robotics. I do believe Serve Robotics probably has a bigger moat than SoundHound. I'm sorry, SoundHound investors. Obviously, I see the growth opportunity for SoundHound, but I wouldn't touch that one anytime soon. So in today's episode, we're just going to cover all that, see some of the other changes. So let's get started.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video, and check out fool.com/Jose for the 10 best stocks to buy now. With that link, you get a promotional offer for their subscription service. Now, let's continue with today's episode.
All right. So Nvidia, as we all know, right? Nvidia is a huge AI company. So recently they started showcasing their 13th filings of some companies that they are investing in. The numbers that they are investing, remember, this is a company that has roughly $40 billion or plus in cash. Let's just take a closer look at Y charts real quick for Nvidia, so we can really look at that cash and short-term investments, just so we can understand the difference of their types of investments. So in the most recent quarter, cash and short-term investments were about $38.5 billion. Their previous 13F filing mentioned that in forms of dollar value, they had about $432 million invested in these public companies. Remember, they also are investing in a lot of private companies, but in these public companies, they only had $432 million, right? So this is less than this is about 1% of their overall cash and short-term investment. So very important to keep that in mind. That means that every position here is less. It's in the decimal points of percentage for Nvidia. So if your bullish thesis for any of these companies have been, hey, look, Nvidia owns them, they only own a very small amount. So it's like saying if you had $40,000, you're only using, $400 out of that $40,000 to invest, right? That's how you have to correlate if you're kind of looking at this with an Nvidia investment mind. Now, if we look at Serve Robotics just yesterday, when the market closed, was up 17%. And it was sitting at $23. Now the stock is sitting at $14.45. Year to date, the stock had done amazing. It was up 55%. But look, right now, even with this pre-market drop, the stock is pretty much sitting where it was year to date. In my opinion, outside of just the huge robotic growth and the whole robotics excitement, there's no real reason for the stock to have been up 55% year to date. This is when the market is very excited about certain companies. I believe in the long term, robotics is going to do really well. And Surf Robotics, for those that are not familiar, let's just take a closer look at Surf Robotics investor presentation. They look at robotics for the last mile delivery. And they believe this is a great opportunity for them. They believe this is a huge market for the future. They have partnerships and investments by Uber, Nvidia, Delivery Hero, 7-Eleven. They have this big 2,000 robots under contract with Uber Eats in selected cities, with new expansions entering later this year. For example, Dallas and Fort Worth by end of quarter 2 of 2025. Outside of that, I mean, they have these robots already, which they can probably use for other avenues. They can do them for advertisement as well. They talk about kind of their advertisement platform. They're kind of entering partnerships with Wing Aviation as well to expand reach. Here you can have robots be more of a diverse revenue opportunities than couriers, as you kind of do these advertisements and you kind of sell these robots to individual companies as well. So in my opinion, there's a lot of truth in this, and I think Serve Robots is doing really, really well. It's one of those companies that if it does well, this is going to be a huge market. But I think we're still in very early innings that I wouldn't mind buying a company with a market cap of less than $1 billion. And now with these pre-market prices, Serve Robotics is going to be under that. And this is going to be one that I'm looking to buy. If I buy, it's going to be less than 1% of my overall portfolio, but it's one that I'm willing to just sit there and let it ride out and see if this thesis of robotics happens in the future. Because even in a small position of 1%, if it becomes a 10 bagger, a 15 bagger, a multi bagger, if this market is going to be real, then even less than 1% is enough to make big, big gains in an overall portfolio. The second company is SoundHound. Now, SoundHound is down about 18%, not as bad as Serve Robotics, but that's because SoundHound has actually done the opposite to Serve Robotics. SoundHound has actually been down roughly 25% year to date. Now it's down 17% as I am recording. But again, I mean, if this is a stock that's going to be sitting at $12 when it opens, and those are values seen in December, right? So it's not like stock prices don't really go up 100 and something percent in a month in a realistic market. It has to always be included some type of hype, unfortunately, and that's the type of risk with investing in SoundHound, right? And I'm not saying that the stock won't go back up. It's just the market, especially with AI, it believes that they will become multi-billionaires or this is the next millionaire stock, and technology takes time to advance. I think the market sometimes expects too much in too little time, and they give too much valuation at the beginning. But sometimes we have to be patient. Again, Nvidia divesting, and we're going to see the numbers in a bit. Divesting from these companies doesn't mean these are bad companies, but you can see how they're so volatile because the market just doesn't know what to do. What is their actual investment thesis? And I think the market is also probably seeing that if Nvidia is removing these shares, then they're no longer top AI companies. And I think that's the wrong thing to look at it. Like I mentioned, Nvidia being an investor of Surf Robotics doesn't make it a better or less investment, in my opinion, or a better or less AI company. They continue to evolve and are going to continue to innovate without Nvidia. And the same goes to SoundHound. I believe the robotics, the software that goes behind it, the robotics training that goes behind it, the hardware that goes behind it is a lot of a bigger moat in Serve Robotics. This is something like SoundHound compared to audio AI, which is something that we're seeing pop up everywhere. So just on the top level thesis, I'm a bigger fan of Serve Robotics than SoundHound AI. Now, if we look at their 13th filing, right, NVIDIA last time they reported, which was, I believe, sometime in September or for their September month. Yeah, we can see it was for the quarter ending on September 30th. They had about $432 million. Now, when they reported here, which is actually for the quarter ended in December, so December 31st, they only have about $300 million. So they did cut down their investments by about $100 million, so close to 25%. We can see here there are some companies that they no longer own. Let me zoom in for y'all. Go down here. So we can see last time they had Applied Digital. They still have Applied Digital. The two that you're going to see missing are going to be Serve Robotics and SoundHound. Those two are no longer there. That means NVIDIA sold. There is a new company, WeRide Inc. WeRide Inc. is a Chinese company, it seems. WeRide reminds me of WeChat, so I wonder if it falls under that same umbrella. But the stock is up about 100% today after NVIDIA news. So you could just see how NVIDIA has become such a market maker, market volatile player where they can move stocks like this. And it's not a small stock, right? Market cap of 4.7 billion before the 100% growth. They did reduce some of their shares in ARM Holdings. Previously, they had about 1 million shares, almost 2 million shares of ARM Holdings. Now they have closer to 1 million shares, right? So they are letting go some ARM shares. ARM really didn't move much. It doesn't really care about this. The stock is down roughly 1%. But I guess the market doesn't care that Nvidia divested some of their ARM holdings. I think ARM is a ticking time bomb right now, though, as SoftBank needs to collect a lot of money to be able to invest in a lot of the AI investments it's trying to do, like Stargate, investing in OpenAI, so on and so forth. So definitely something to be careful with ARM holdings. Now, the other ones are ones that they didn't change positions. For example, Applied Digital, Nebius, and Recursion all stayed with similar position size. And the market, for some reason, is kind of giving them um, a pass, not a pass, a congratulation growth, right? Applied Digital is up about 4%. Recursion is a stock that I own and I'm pretty excited about. It's up about 6%. Again, very similar to any other position in that list. These are small players, very small positions, speculative play, but Recursion up 6%. And we have Nebulous up about 7% right now. It seems like the market is saying, hey, look, you guys passed the NVIDIA test. So it means you're a good AI company for now, maybe not completely overvalued. So we're going to make you more expensive because of that. And we're going to give you a better rating. The market is crazy. But yeah, that's pretty much what's happening here. Like I said, I do own Recursion Pharmaceutical, one that I personally enjoy. Again, small position. And with the current drop, I am going to start looking at Surf Robotics. Surf Robotics, I believe there are two industries that the AI market is going to take, it is going to change dramatically within the next 5 years. The first is the drug discovery, and this is why I entered into Recursion. The second is the robotics. I've always looked at Surf Robotics, but I thought it was maybe a little bit too pricey. I know the stock is only back to where it was year to date, but now with the price drop, it gives me a little bit of opportunity to maybe open up a small position. So those are the two markets I'm bullish on, and those are the two stocks I'm definitely, at least one I own and one I'm keeping a closer eye on. So let me know, what are your thoughts? Are you planning on buying more SoundHound? Are you planning on buying more Surf Robotics? Are you selling? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Take care. Have a good day and see you all next time.